Let's cross now to Bénédicte Paviot in London. No more ID cards at the border crossings for those coming in from the EU. They now need a passport, Bénédicte, in order to get into the country.
Indeed, welcome to the post-Brexit era for the United Kingdom, or certainly EU citizens, Swiss citizens, entering the UK. So, as you mentioned, EU citizens travelling to the UK cannot now, since midnight, use their national ID cards, in French carte d'identité, to enter the United Kingdom. They need a valid passport. Now, there is an exception, a few exceptions. You can do that if you can use your ID card if you have settled or pre-settled status. If you apply to the EU settlement scheme but have not yet received a decision, if you have an EU settlement scheme family permit or a frontier worker permit. Now, this was announced over a year ago. It is part of the tough new immigration rules, and it is certainly this banning of ID cards as being a valid document to enter the UK is very much part, the UK Home Secretary says, of fighting off gangs that were falsifying these. And in fact, it's quite a high number. According to British statistics, 48%, so almost half of the forgeries detected in 2020 at the UK border were indeed European ID cards or Swiss ID cards.
Now, of course, this is happening against the backdrop of those massive fuel shortages in Britain. The UK government is saying that the situation is getting better, but is that indeed the case?
Well, I think that still remains a bit of an open question. You're quite right. Over a week ago now, we had the beginning, or certainly the public beginning, of it's not a fuel shortage proper, because the fuel is in the terminals, is in the refineries. It's a distribution, a supply problem. So getting that fuel, much needed fuel, from the refineries, from the terminals, to the forecourts, to the petrol stations across the UK. And although it seems that Northern Ireland doesn't seem to be much affected, we know that mainland UK has indeed been very affected. It made headlines for 5 consecutive days, which we covered, of course, on France 24. And although the government is today making reassuring statements, indeed the business secretary, Kwasi Kwarteng, saying that the situation is stabilising and becoming more normal, that doesn't quite match what we're hearing from the Haulage Association, that is still saying that there are problems, particularly in towns up and down the UK. So still a lot of anxious drivers, people needing to get to work, let alone healthcare workers making home visits, people trying to make hospital appointments, people trying to go to work, parents trying to go to work and taking their children to work before. So still problems, but of course very unwelcome headlines for the Conservative ruling government of Boris Johnson, which will be opening its annual party conference, a very big event, on Saturday evening.
Bénédicte Paviot reporting there from London. Thank you.